Hello, welcome to another Lee Davey walking down the street from Starbucks to home podcast episodes. What's on my mind right now? So recently my dear Liza bought me a face cream. I don't know the name of it, some fancy Dan organic kind of creamy thing, and I've been using it in the morning and I've been using it in the night. Liza's really pleased that I've been putting it on, and I think it's something worth talking about, because one of the major physical benefits of not drinking alcohol is the improvement of your skin, in my opinion. So from a very young age I suffered from acne. I would say maybe 12, 13, maybe a little bit younger, like really bad, to the point where I remember the first night that I moved in to a home with my ex-wife. I asked her to turn the lights off before I got undressed to get into bed, because I was so embarrassed about the acne on my back. So it was like a tough time for me. Like, it was a really bad moment, because I didn't think anyone was going to find me attractive at all. And then as I grew up, I remember my mum telling me when I was like, I don't know, 15, 16, crying to her that I was never going to find anyone. And she said, don't worry about it. It's just puberty, your spots will go. And there I was at 35 and I still had them. So when I stopped drinking alcohol, they went. And I suddenly realised that obviously the alcohol in itself was causing a big problem. But it wasn't just the alcohol, it was all the crap that I was eating that goes along with alcohol. Like, so, you drink alcohol and get drunk on a weekend, and you don't come home and make yourself a smoothie, do you? You're in the kebab shop or the Chinese or the Indian or whatever. And in general, as someone who drinks alcohol, my whole lifestyle was unhealthy. And I suppose when I stopped drinking alcohol, boom, my lifestyle became healthier. I took the vow really to be a healthy person, and alcohol has no role in your life when you do that, and my skin cleared up. But back to, so I want to maintain it, I'm 43, coming on to 44 soon. I think I look young for my age as a result of my decision not to drink alcohol. But how long is that going to last for? At what point do things change? Does the skin start going south, etc., etc.? So this then draws me to the cream that Liza has given me, right? Because I'm now putting it on. And there's a reason why I'm putting it on that I want to talk about, that I think is quite important. Have I gone the wrong bloody way here? I think I have. Oh well. Okay, so here's the deal. I've never put cream on my face before, particularly when I was younger, because the worldview that I had, part of my worldview growing up, and part of the societal condition that I was subjected to where I was raised, was if you wore cream on your face, that you was homosexual, or we used the term gay back then, I guess. And growing up, we lived in a constant fear as young adults of being called gay. It's a real sad thing to admit, but that's how it was. I don't remember ever anybody in school being gay, and I guess one of the reasons that there was nobody is because of the fear of coming out. given the cutthroat nature of the playground, of which I must have been a part of it. So there was no way that I was ever going to tell people that I was wearing a cream that was making my face look good, because like I said, it was felt that that only people who were gay or people who were, or girls, did that type of thing, and we just didn't want to go there as kids. We didn't want to be ridiculed. So the pain of being abused for wearing a cream far outweighed the pleasure of looking good because of the byproduct of the cream. Also, you're not going to really get the short-term instant gratification pleasure or positive aspects of using a cream here. It's going to be long-term. So again, we tend to focus on the short-term, not the long-term. So in this instance of the cream, it would have been short-term pain that we would have focused on. The short-term pain of being ridiculed rather than the long-term pleasure of having great skin. So that's why I would never have used it back then. But now, as I'm getting older, sorry about the cleaner, as I'm getting older, the tables are turning. Now, the long-term pain, or the short-term pain and the long-term pain of potentially looking old, okay, and my skin not looking good, is now more painful than any potential repercussions by anybody who's deciding to call me names that I'm wearing a cream on my face, coupled with me being experienced and older, and those kind of jibes and insults don't mean anything to me anymore, coupled with, again, the fact that I choose not to associate myself with people who would do such a thing anyway. And all of that is a direct result of the choices I've made since I've been someone who doesn't drink alcohol, right? So that's super important, because those reasons behind why I didn't use cream back then and the reasons that I will use cream today on my face is exactly the same as alcohol, right? Because when we were kids or growing up, or you might even be, it's not even kids, because it probably is happening to you today as well, and that is, we carry on drinking. Look, anybody listening to this podcast has the cognitive dissonance battling away and chirping away in your mind, right? That is really important to acknowledge from the outset. So, you know that drinking alcohol is not great. You know it's not it's all cracked up to be. You're probably feeling it. You're wondering what's going on, whether you can stop drinking it. You don't feel like you're in control, whatever. But you can't stop. And one of the reasons that you won't be able to stop, this won't be the same for everyone, but for a lot of you, is of peer pressure. You'll be worried about what your friends think if you suddenly change your status and become someone who doesn't drink alcohol. And that is no different to me as a kid being afraid of being called gay or being afraid of being called a girl. It's peer pressure no matter how you dress it up. It is the human driven biological and psychological desire to be part of a tribe. And not just part of a tribe, but to have a decent seat, a decent seat at a table, a decent vantage point in the pecking order of the hierarchy of that tribe, right? So if you're like going out with your mates and your life and soul of the party and everyone thinks you're fantastic and great and all that, you will subconsciously have a pecking order in your mind of where you are within your mates in terms of importance, influence or leadership. And you will know that if you stop drinking, that status is threatened, or you certainly think it's threatened because of the way you're thinking about the actions and the activities that you take, and the points that and the points that you earn for doing those things, in terms of your overall scoreboard, if you like, of how you fit into the world. Whereas what we learn at the Truth About Alcohol is that our status increases when we start drinking alcohol, right? We change the point system. It's not fucking cool to drink alcohol. It's cool not to drink alcohol. Is a good example of changing the point system, right? So you'll be in exactly the same position I am, or I was, where peer pressure is stopping you. Like my skin cream back in the day is your alcohol today. And one of the ways of getting around that is by doing what I've just done now, which is to flip the tables, is to start focusing less on the short-term benefits of drinking alcohol, and focus more on the long-term pain of continuing to drink alcohol, or focus on the short-term pain of drinking alcohol and the long-term pleasure of not drinking alcohol. Okay? If you can do those things, then suddenly the peer pressure will not be as big of a challenge as it currently is today. Okay? Also, as I keep banging on every episode, joining a group of like-minded people will help you create that confidence to be able to not just think differently, but to have these conversations with so-called friends in order for them to support you. Like, if we don't have these uncomfortable conversations with our friends, then yes, our status may very well drop within the hierarchy, right? But if we have these conversations with our friends ahead of time and frame it in a real confident, progressive way, then there's nothing that's going to happen to our status other than it's going to increase. And you'll become a role model. Yeah, your friends might not all stop drinking at the drop of an hat to join you, but guaranteed they will look at you and think, wow, what a big, bold, great decision this guy made. That certainly happened for me. I think the number one thing that people kept saying to me all the time was, wow, Lee, I wish I had the balls to do what you've done. There was a recognition there that what I'd done was very influential, inspirational thing, even if they didn't want to follow. It was not too much of a mockery about it, you know. So there you are, little whimsical musing, connecting my use of beauty products now that I'm getting a little bit older with alcohol. My name is Lee Davey, not an alcoholic. I refuse to be anonymous. I am someone that doesn't drink alcohol and does use beauty products, and I refuse to be anonymous about both of them. Catch you soon, hopefully, for the majority of you, on the January taster. If you want to be someone that doesn't drink alcohol for the month, to feel what that's like, to put your foot in the water, so to speak, your toe in the water, then join us at the www.truthaboutalcohol.co.uk, or reply to this email for further information. The quicker you sign up, the cheaper financially the experience will be. And yeah, let's work together. It's good fun. Take care. Bye.